SEMA 2009. The cars, the parts, the experience. Nobody brings it to you like Power TV.
Here at SEMA 2009, Eaton has a great car on display, a 57 Chevy that was put together by Todd Ebeling. Todd, tell us about what went into the construction of this great-looking car.
Well, basically, we were looking to reinvent the car, the 57. How do you build a 57 that hasn't been seen before? Really is the goal. And so with this particular build, we wanted to give it a clean shave and a haircut. We also wanted to give it a muscle car vibe. And we did so by doing the drivetrain more high performance and late model. And that late model drivetrain includes an Eaton Supercharger on top of an LS1 motor that's hopped up with some comp cams internals. And it's backed by a 4L65 electronic transmission that has been tweaked to handle the horsepower. And then that transfers to one of our Dutchman rear ends. It's an independent hybrid 12 bolt. And that independent 12 bolt, of course, has got an Eaton differential in it to carry the power to the ground, get it to the tires. And so that's kind of our, how do you get attention at SEMA? Well, you pay attention to the details, and you do the right color combinations, and you put the right wheel and tire package on it, give it the right stance, and the rest is history. And so we've been pleased the way it's been received here at SEMA, and that's essentially the build, how it went, and how we were able to execute. And I like the results, and I think everybody else does as well.
Yeah, and obviously, my understanding is 7 years, 3,000 plus hours went into this project, and it obviously shows.
That's correct. Yeah, 7 years, mainly because it was an after-hours kind of a gig, evenings and weekends. So 3,000 hours spread over 7 years is really what it boils down to. And of course, associated with that is a whole pile of receipts that exceeds 6 figures just for materials alone, parts and materials and whatnot. So that's where we're at on the project.
What was the thought? When you had the clean sheet of paper in front of you, what were you thinking in approaching this project?
Like I said before, a muscle car vibe, of course, and everybody does that to a 57, but how can you execute a 57 that's unique? And what came into play late in the game was the red line tires, which gives you a throwback to the era in the 60s where you had muscle cars that were showing up with red line tires. And so not only do we have the power plant under the hood that gives it that vibe, but we also have that throwback to the 60s, a retro, as you could say. Also with the modern 20-inch wheels, we stayed with the classic 5-spoke design. That 5-spoke design with the grayed out spokes also is a retro throwback to the 60s, but we've encased that in a kind of modern clothing, or modern design, so to speak, with the 20-inch rims all the way around. So you look at it and it looks really clean and modern, but yet you look at it and it reminds you of a time era back in the 60s when muscle cars had red line. And the only reason why I focus on that at this point in the conversation is because we've had the most compliments on the wheels and tires, of all things, and in stance, the way the car sits. And then, of course, the color combination comes into play as well, to where it all ties together. Red accents, the red interior, the red line tires, signature calipers from Willwood. They're actually signature to the Bel Air Supersport emblem that we gave the car. There's no such thing as a Bel Air Supersport in 57, but we created what we felt would have been a Supersport in 57, really is what happened. So,
yeah, I was going to say, taking a look at the interior, it is just impeccable.
Well, thank you. Help with the designer. I'm a designer, technical artist per se, had help with Eric Brockmeyer Designs. He helped us design it, and then we pitched it to a guy who knows how to stitch leather, and it all came together. I'm very pleased with how it came together. And of course, it was a late night thrash just to get here, to make it to SEMA. Glad we did. It's been a wonderful show.
So did it turn out the way you had envisioned it?
Yes, and more. You don't start to realize until the car is actually sitting there done and you're able to admire it yourself, because I've been staring at a raw car that's been out of paint, out of chrome for so many years, over a 7-year period. I really got to enjoy it here at SEMA myself, and actually, get to see the fruit of the labor, to see it sitting there and looking good, getting compliments, and we're happy with the results.
All right, congratulations on a fantastic looking car.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, to check out more on what this car looks like, EatonPerformance.com or DutchmanAxles.com is where you want to visit. This thing is just beautiful.